Welcome to Window Shop with Car and Driver. This is the show where we present ourselves with a challenge and then search for cars online to meet that challenge. This week's challenge is to find fuel-efficient cars that we might want to own or maybe even have owned for less than $5,000. So we are joined by our contributor, John Curley Huffman, who's in Santa Barbara, California, and Joey Caparella, who's in Michigan, Jonathan Ramsey, who is in Kentucky, and Casey Colwell, who is in Michigan. So we will start with Casey.
Where are you, Tony? Where are you? Do you want to tell me where you are?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So we're all over the place. So even if it wasn't for COVID, this would probably be the easiest way to do this.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, why don't you take it away? Let's see what you found.
It's already just a mess, but okay. I found a wonderful car, and it's an Insight, and the most important thing about this is in slide number 3, and that is that it is a manual transmission.
Very nice.
And hey, Tony, what's the steering wheel from?
That's 2000.
Yep, these cars shared an assembly line, or I guess an assembly facility, the Tochigi low volume assembly in Japan.
The gauge cluster is similar too, yeah.
Yeah, very similar. Isn't that where they built the original NSX too, Casey?
Yep, NSXs. Yeah, all three of them were built there. There was a period in time where I thought I would get all three of those cars, and that'd be a fun garage to have, especially they were all built like within the same time frame.
Oh yeah, that's
Bring
right.
them back together. That'd be a good theme for a garage if anybody wants to do that.
Are those the original seats?
I don't recall.
They're covers. It looks like it has covers on it.
That's what I thought. I think they're covers. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But it's like they're asking $2,900. These things, I mean, you can keep your foot in the floor all day long, and you'll still probably get close to 40 miles a gallon.
Oh yeah.
EPA said I think 53 combined.
Yeah. These are efficient little cars. And I mean, I think an old hybrid, there's some worry about that, but you can get a complete replacement battery for as little as $1,400. These are like plug and play, or you can do a little bit bigger one for $1,800 and still get.
And you're still under budget. You're still under.
Yeah, and you're still under budget, and you will. I mean, you will just maximize your fuel economy. You'll get the just crazy fuel economy.
Did these weigh like less than 2,000 pounds or something?
They are.
It was 1885 with the air conditioning, or 1580 without air conditioning.
Oh, just over 2,000.
Just over 2,000.
Yeah, 2089.
Did they have like an insane low drag coefficient too for the body, like 0.2 something?
Yeah.
0.25.
Yeah, this is going to be. Yeah, I think 0.25 is right.
Yeah, these are really cool.
Listed here. They're cool cars, and it's also reminded me in doing this. This reminded me of the story, which if you don't know, I'm hoping this is online, but this is just a PDF of the story. But the late Don Schrader cheated a fuel economy challenge, and we got some money for Ann Arbor Hospice. But they basically cheated by having Don Sherman, who he described as, wait, let me find it, a most competitive and devious human, which is one of the best descriptions of Don I've ever read. But Don basically took an excursion and put, you can kind of open the doors and then had this big kind of like fairing across the bottom, and they basically drove around, that close. It was from I think it was from Columbus to Detroit, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, Honda issued a challenge to all the publications that were writing about the Insight, and then the two Dons just cheated wildly, although they didn't call it cheating.
Well, yeah, and if you read it, it's really funny. It's like, so it's okay to draft, and they were like, yeah, and I mean, it's here, drafting. Drafting is legal. Any drafting, any vehicle, perfect. That's done.
So and the driver won that one.
So what MPG did they get?
121.7. 58 miles per hour. The next best mileage was 83.
Wow.
So So yeah, so that's a fun story. I'd forgotten about it.
Do these have any aluminum in the construction? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's an aluminum monocoque.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
like
I think-
aluminum. It's Honda's like aluminum car. Well,
What do they cost? What do they cost new?
I knew they were 20 grand. I mean,
That's a lot
21.
back then.
Well, I guess this is estimated, but I mean, just 67
Right.
horsepower. It's a 3-cylinder. I mean, and also this example I found. I mean, 174,000 miles, and I mean, it's pretty clean.
yeah,
I think this car was well loved.
they have a really dedicated following.
Yeah.
People sort
Yeah,
of
I
discovered them when they were new, and then some people discovered them in the used market, but they have a very dedicated following. The guy that I bought my Elise from had 2 of them. And he was just like, yeah, I just like light cars. I think it's cool. It's fun to drive around LA.
Yeah, actually, when I was looking, I found an ad for one, I think in Wisconsin or something, which they were selling 2 as a pair. And like every ad I found for Insights was just so detailed, and you can tell that the owners just like really care about these cars.
They're cool cars.
Don't
They
casually
deserve the
own them.
love for sure.
I'm surprised it's so affordable. I went looking for CRVs or CRXs. I went looking for CRXs. They were all 10 grand for decent examples.
CRX
Yeah,
I
or
wonder if these will
CRT.
ever appreciate like the CRX has. I
Yeah.
kind of doubt it.
Were you looking for
You know, like-
CRXs? Pearly, were you looking for
What?
CRXs or CRZs?
CRXs. I went for
Okay.
CRXs. You know, remember the CRX HF used to get like,
yeah.
but I couldn't find any decent CRXs for less than 10 grand. So that makes this look that much better.
Cool car, Casey.
Anyway, yeah. So I took it. I mean, that's something I would wheel if I was really trying to maximize every mile.
All right. Mr. Huffman, you are up next. What have you brought
Okay,
us?
here, share screen. And that's not what happened. Did I lose it? Oh, there it is.
You've done nothing. There we go.
There it is.
Still
Okay.
lost. Oh, there.
Yeah,
we go.
there it is.
Oh, sweet.
1999 Mercedes-Benz E300 diesel.
Wow.
My grandfather had a Mercedes diesel, so I've always loved Mercedes diesels just basically because of him. And this one has, you know, this one, the guy says that his dad gave it to him in 2010 when his dad was dying of cancer. So he seems to have taken very good care of it as a sentimental journey type car. And, you know, these things are really, you know, the trick about Tony's assignment here is that you'd want to drive. And
Yeah.
the you want to drive quotient on a car like this is pretty high. As opposed to, you know, like a misery machine, like I'm sure somebody else will come up with in this thing. And look at this thing. It's
We're gonna strike that from the record, just so you know.
What do you mean, Pearly? I think everything's going to be
We're
great.
gonna cut that in post.
no, I bet you somebody else will just come up with crap. So, but this is an elegant motor car that probably has another 300,000 miles worth of life left in it. It has
Oh, I don't know about
235,000
that.
miles on it.
It's got the
Yeah.
inline 6. How much power
Yeah.
did these make? Like 150, 160?
Like 170 maybe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, obviously they're geared for the torque. They make a lot of low end torque, and so they're going to be geared that way. But I don't think anybody's ever come away from a Mercedes diesel, and not enjoyed the car.
It's got
First-
aftermarket wheels on it.
Are you sure those aftermarket?
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
they're not
Yeah,
so-
those are like, yes, those are like
What's the
sport design wheels.
inscription? What's the guy say about it?
Oh, let's see what's this here.
He says it should be good for 1 million miles. That's quite
wow,
nice.
that's a
That's a lot of
Just
miles.
like the trucks.
Million is
I
pushing
really
it.
want to drive it that far.
These this generation of E-Class, they get rusty though. Where is this car? Oh, it's in Michigan, but it looks really clean.
I mean, you know, obviously all cars are, depends on where all cars are. This one doesn't look like it was driven very often in the winter time. And the interior is really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a vinyl seat, so it's not
It's not
showing
vinyl, it's
anywhere.
MP Tex. It's Mercedes leather.
It's vinyl. Is that a
It's
what,
Mercedes.
is that a star that's on the seat? What's that? What is
It
that?
might be a dream catcher.
I think it is a dream.
It actually looks like it. This generation, I always thought was interesting because it's kind of like, it looks fairly modern, but it's still kind of like the gauges, especially look very old Mercedes to me. Like it's kind of a transitionary period.
Well,
The car wasn't in Michigan its whole life, that's for sure. Because it's got
Yeah,
that.
probably not. Or it was just because I mean,
Well, it's
with
got that
being
front
on-
plate thing. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
Those are I don't know. Those look like. Are you sure those are aftermarket
Those are
wieels?
not
definitely
100% those are
100%.
aftermarket wheels.
a
You can
million
tell by the
percent.
center cap.
that says like Borbay or something.
Yeah,
there.
exactly, or Sport Edition.
They
The
look fine though.
the view over the hood of these is incredible. It has the, you know, the rounded fenders, so it's almost like looking down the hood of a 911.
And you can see the hood ornament.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things also that I like about this generation is that, you know, now that every Mercedes today is available, at least available with the big giant star in the center of the grille, except for the S-Class. The S-Class is the only one that says if you buy an S-Class, you have to get the hood ornament.
I thought you could option it on E-Class.
You can get it on an E-Class, but you can also get the big thing, but you
He's
can't get
saying
an S-Class.
You're saying it's standard, like
Right.
you have to get it on that.
It's mandatory.
It's what
yeah.
Mercedes should look like. This is what a Mercedes should look like. It shouldn't look like these, you know, these Hyundais that are selling now and calling them Mercedes. And this one is just
Sick burn.
The wildfires have reached New Jersey or Atlanta, wherever Mercedes is now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, this looks like a
He's
classic
gonna keep
Mercedes
zooming
grille.
in on the face.
Early, did you look up the fuel economy on fueleconomy.gov?
I did, and then I forgot to bring it back because I got involved in that I got dissuaded by another vehicle. I'll look it up
well,
right
can
now
you
if you guys don't
open up a
understand.
tab. Oh, well, forget it.
I,
We'll put it in post. It's too difficult.
can't you put like a super over here? You know what it was?
Yeah, we'll put it in post. It's fine.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
what
like
are
little
these? I mean,
numbers,
what are these?
You can do miracles in post.
I
What is
think
this?
they're
Is this like 30?
probably like low
combined?
30s highway, I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look it up right now because I'm gonna feel so I can tell you later when you go back to so and maybe I'll share the screen when I find it.
Maybe. All right. While Hurley is looking up that bit of information,
I think the moderator is going to block screen sharing.
Joey Caparella, why don't you show us what you found for this challenge?
So I was looking for kind of the expected stuff at first, like old Priuses and Insights and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I kind of like, I mean, I learned to drive on a Prius. I'm very familiar with that, you know, whole thing. But
you don't want to own another one necessarily.
yeah, I mean, it's just not cool in any way. Like the Insight, I think, has that enthusiast appeal, but most hybrids don't. So I went a pretty wacky route. There's also a diesel European sedan, but a French one, not a German one.
Oh my God.
Wait,
505.
what is going on with that shifter? Whoa,
Yeah, I was gonna say the shifter is what
Did it melt in the sun?
shifter is what hooked me.
Oh,
Oh
the
no, it's just
knob,
turned
is the
around. The
knob on
knob's just turned
So
backwards?
around.
bizarrely shaped. I think it might just be like twisted around or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I think the knob's on backwards and it's in second gear.
Yeah, but it really caught my eye. I don't know. It's just a cool sedan. I think the design has aged really, really well. You're not going to see any, you know, any of these coming and going. It's different. It's turbo diesel, 2.3 liter, I think.
0.1, wasn't it?
Have
How
you ever
much
driven one of
horsepower?
these?
I have not.
I went looking for these. I found one, and I also went looking for the 504, which I think is just such a unique looking car. I wish I could have found a 504.
How much
Well,
horsepower?
I
Joey?
did look up the original fuel economy. I was pretty disappointed, but I looked at the, you know, there's the revised EPA numbers, which are pretty dismal. But then they also provide, what it was like
On the sticker.
on the original window sticker. 38 highway is pretty good. I mean, not that you're gonna get that, but
You're going to get 27.
Yeah.
it's probably a lot more realistic.
You're gonna get 25% worse.
I can at least justify at one point this was a fuel efficient car.
It was considered fuel efficient.
It's considered fuel. Tony, didn't you try finding one of these for diesel beater when we did diesel beaters?
I don't remember. No, I think I had my heart set on an Oldsmobile.
I remember
You got it, right?
looking for one of these, and maybe it was for Aaron then.
Maybe it was for
but-
Aaron, yeah. Look at those gauges. Go back to
No,
those
it's
gauges.
just so many little weird French design touches. It's like,
Not a lot of miles.
yeah, it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. I mean, it's got that, you know, the
No
Fuel
fade.
gauge any
Ooh.
bigger?
And they're open to trades too.
yeah.
And what's
I
that
like
last
the
image of this
because
ad?
They are claiming it's much better than a Mercedes had to offer at the time.
What's
Yeah.
that last image highlighting?
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
Look at the bolt pattern on the wheels. It's like 4 by 130. They're so far apart.
It's because of all that torque.
Oh, yeah, I see. It's just
No, I
kind
always
of a
thought this body
classic
was kinda
look. I
pretty,
really
though.
like it.
How much is it, Joey? How much was it?
And it's cheap, 3,800.
Oh, okay, so we're under budget.
I mean, it's not going to be cheap to maintain, I would guess.
That's
Possibly
if you
trade
can
for a
maintain it.
But these were good cars, right?
No.
They were interesting cars.
Good to
They're
drive.
Super soft. I just remember they had super soft suspensions.
Yeah, they ride really
Fingers
well.
crossed here.
I've never driven. I've never
When
driven it.
they ride well.
Well,
That's about it.
but they don't handle very well.
They
Probably.
don't
They
do
ride well.
I
anything
mean,
well.
does anything from 1982 handle very well in today's terms?
Not really.
928 S4.
911.
Well, those aren't.
S4 didn't arrive until 87 or 88.
I love that Tony just corrected him on that.
I was waiting for that.
That's right there. That's the stuff I live for. That's the thing. Like, so I have friends who do, when I correct them, they're like, "Is it just exhausting correcting people about stuff?" I'm like,
Well,
"Yeah,
we're all YouTube commenters at heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was 88. S4 was 88, I think.
That's my choice.
All right, thank you, Joey, for that oddball francophile choice.
Good
Who's
choice.
up next? Oh, Jonathan Ramsey's up next. What sort of AMC did you find?
I found something better than an AMC, and I'm gonna quote Pearlie with this. This is what a Mercedes should look like. In fact, there you go. If so, 1981 VW. That's right, Casey. Look at that feast on what I found. A 1.6 liter 4-cylinder diesel. I think it had like 73 pound-feet and 50 horsepower, 45 horsepower.
That has to be the only cap for a Rabbit pickup in the
Oh
country."
my God.
I mean, look, you can't lose on this. The cap is worth the vehicle itself.
I want to know.
I think at this point, with all that rust, the cap is structurally integral to the vehicle.
You can't take it off.
Is this? Did they only sell this body style with the diesel? I don't think they sold it as a gas engine, did they?
No, they sold it with gas. I've driven a
did?
gas one before.
I'm
How
not
was
sure.
it?
No, they did. They sold it with gas. They sold caddies with gas in the United States.
Okay. Well, this is. This was built in at the Westmoreland plant, which doesn't exist. You know what happened when they closed the Westmoreland plant?
What do you mean?
They filmed Gung Ho.
No, they took all the tooling and they shipped it to South Africa, and they kept building these in South Africa for like another
long
15 or
time,
16
yeah.
years.
Yeah, they built them for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it is, yeah, it needs a little bit of work, needs some love, but I mean, a small pickup that will get great gas mileage. Now it says it needs towed, but I don't understand. It doesn't explain why it needs towed because it says it started right up. So I don't know
It's more
what
concerning.
I don't know where the issue is, but he says he put external diesel and it runs very well. So
Oh, maybe the tank is
The
messed
ta-
up. Maybe
it had been sitting for a long
Fuel
time.
filler or something.
yeah, I mean,
it has a rebuilt. It looks like it has a rebuilt engine.
only 100 miles on the rebuilt engine, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
Complete-
but those 100 miles happened like 10 years ago, probably.
which is
Well, 3.
still good for me.
So in
Yeah.
other words, the engine broke, and 100 miles later, something else on the vehicle. They fixed the engine, and 100 miles later, something else broke, and they never fixed that.
I think this seems like one of those vehicles where the original owner died after the thing was rebuilt, because who would have this?
I think this
That's
is one of the
true.
things where the original owner invited death after owning it.
For-
That old Chevy behind it.
Yeah, there's all sorts
Yeah,
of.
where is this? Is this Lincoln, Nebraska?
yeah.
An S
that's-
class. There's an S class there too.
Is that an S class back there? Oh no.
Yeah, right next to the Chevy is an S class.
I would take that truck in the background as well. That old Dodge.
Yeah.
This would look cool with some GTI wheels. Maybe give it the GTI suspension.
66 Coronet on slots.
Like the Mark 1 GTI wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Make it look like a Mark 1 GTI.
It's
And
actually a 50 horsepower diesel.
I'd like to point out, Jonathan, that you've combined this week's challenge with last week's challenge.
Wait, what was last week's challenge?
The trucks.
Oh, that's right. And I look at all that headroom I still have. $2,500. I'm
Under
laughing.
budget, rusty.
I have a brand to maintain with this, and this will do it. So yeah,
I don't know how many thumbs up you're going to be getting with that bad boy.
8,
Do
12.
we know what the fuel economy was? Like 40-ish, maybe, in the day?
Yeah, I'd have to look that up. If there's
If it
even
goes
a
back
ranking
that
for it. What's
Yeah,
that?
go to the last, maybe 84. I think 84 is the first year. So let's see if there's
Yeah,
an
84. But did they still sold the diesel in 84?
Yeah, I mean, they sold a diesel. I don't know if it was in the pickup. So let's just see what Rabbit. We can extrapolate.
Rabbit 1.6 liter.
Diesel.
Click on it and go to the original window sticker though. Original EPA MPG.
Is that the diesel?
It's got to be over 50. Yeah, look, wow,
61.
61 highway back in
Boom.
the day.
That's not for the caddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be in the ballpark. It's not that different.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that
didn't realize
blue
we-
caddy, I don't know if it'll get 61 MPG or not.
Yeah, what
With
do you
my-
mean? It's got a rebuilt engine.
Exactly. And with my camper, with my drafting and my arrow.
Maybe you
Yeah.
get 59.
It's an aero deck. It's an aero deck camper
Exactly.
or an aero deck caddy.
And once I start drafting like Casey's dudes, then I'm rolling.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. It was surprisingly easy to look up that fuel economy, huh, Pearly?
Yeah, I found it. You want to see my?
Tell us what it
Moved
is.
on.
It's the Mercedes is a 2332 on the new methods.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad. All right. You
That's the
guys,
one,
well, aside from Pearly, nobody really had a luxury car, but I have an American luxury car.
Oh crap! It's a Cadillac, isn't it?
Buick. Is this? Are you still in your
Cadillac
Buick
V8
phase?
diesel, isn't it?
I'm concerned about the Buick phase.
It is.
Oh,
this
no.
Oldsmobile-
Oh,
There's
this-
no way. What's the mileage? Before we go any further, what's the mileage?
80,000
You were saying-
miles.
I didn't know you found another one.
80,000 miles, no rust. It's a 105 horsepower Oldsmobile Diesel.
That is
Wow.
a familiar interior.
If it made it this long, I figure it'll keep going because the ones that were weak died, and a lot of them died.
Even
Tony,
Russ
I can't
doesn't
believe
want
you
this
said
car.
I can't believe you said we didn't take this seriously.
Well,
And you showed up with this.
I think all I said was that I thought you guys would take it more seriously.
I can smell the Newports coming out of that cloth interior.
So Casey and I actually raced one of these across the country back in 2006. We did this Diesel Beaters story where we raced it across the country, and we competed against a W116 Mercedes and a Nissan Maxima diesel, the Datsun Maxima actually at the time.
This was what I was talking about when I was talking about searching for. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, so 105 horsepower. We tested them too. 105 horsepower.
Oh yeah. Vanderwerf
205
tested them. I
pounds
still
feet of
can't
torque.
believe he did that. I would not have tested these cars.
17 8 to 60, 65 miles an hour in the quarter. They all were 65 miles an hour in the quarter. But yeah, this is and then the fuel economy. Let me find the fuel economy.
312 feet. It needs more than a football field to stop from 70.
Yeah, it locked up the rear wheels pretty badly, as I recall. Original window sticker 2335.
Tony, okay, let's talk about the assignment here. Vehicles that you want to drive.
I've actually owned one of these.
Would you actually want to drive this vehicle?
Sure.
Oh, come on, you're lying.
Haven't
was
you
not
sort
a
of almost
convincing-
owned two
yeah.
of them?
They've gone up in value too, because I paid $750 for mine.
How much
And I-
I want this one?
I think they're going to continue to appreciate as they become rarer.
Even
and rarer.
750 was too much.
Wait. Didn't your dad have one when you were a kid?
My dad had a Toronado diesel for 9 months and then sold it.
$3,000? $3,000?
Well, look at it. It doesn't have any rust on it, Jonathan.
Jonathan, this person will call you back when you inquire about it.
Whoa, that's
What's
not
with
an
the
issue.
steering wheel? What's with that steering wheel?
It's an
Really way too
aftermarket steering
small.
wheel for sure.
Wow.
It's of questionable taste.
It
It
looks
looks
like a
almost like a
toy car
mono,
steering
but it's
wheel.
not. I don't
There's
think
no question. It's bad taste. There's no questionable taste about it.
Oh, I'm being nice to the car I'm trying to sell to you.
And you take a look at the interior. I think that the sun's gotten to that and changed the colors a couple of times on the upholstery.
No, it hasn't. That's just a glare.
No, it's not.
No,
That's sun fading.
You're
on
such
the
an
tunnel
Oldsmobile
doors.
apologist.
I sat in seats like that across the country, totally comfortable, amazing ride.
The
Beautiful.
exception of that ice storm, it was perfect.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing would have been fun in that ice storm.
Except when we almost died, it was perfect.
Isn't it true? Isn't it true that that dealers were actually pulling the V8 diesels out of the cars and replacing them with like crate
Yeah,
engines?
there was a class action suit too. So what the Achilles heel is weak head bolts. So if you warm them up slowly and you don't beat on them, that usually is fine. And then ARP sells a head bolt kit that is much stronger, and so they never bend and the thing doesn't break. Also, they didn't have a water separator in the diesel tank.
Yeah.
Later ones have water in tank warnings for the driver. And that's probably more information than anyone needs about the Oldsmobile.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think you know way too much about the real diesel.
I mean, weren't there a couple of class action suits related to these engines?
Yeah, there was. And GM settled them all and everyone was happy. All
You know,
right,
the thing is-
now we'll go to the part of the show where we judge each other's
Wait a
picks.
second. I just want to say this is a 350, right? This is not one of the 260s.
No, it's a 350. And they also made a diesel V6.
V6.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they made for about 5 minutes and then they stopped.
Yeah.
That'd be even
Well, gas
slower?
prices fell drastically in the mid 80s.
Would that be even slower, a V6 diesel?
Yeah, it had like 80 horsepower, but they put it in the front drive stuff. They didn't put it in the rear drive stuff.
Not the big ones.
Okay. Casey, you went first. You had the insight.
Good.
Thumbs up. Love it.
That's the only reasonable car.
That's 2 thumbs up right there. Yeah.
All right. Pearly, the Mercedes.
Somebody's got to be the straight guy on here.
Thank
The
you, Bud
Mercedes-
Abbott.
Take the challenge and
The Mercedes Diesel. I'm giving you a thumbs up. That was a
Yeah.
nice car. Good find.
Yeah.
Good condition.
Yeah.
Aftermarket wheels.
Yeah,
Joe.
you had aftermarket steering wheel in yours.
Yeah, I'm sure you can source that real the original for nothing. Joey, Peugeot 505.
Nice car.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I would have given you thumbs down, but it's a manual. I like the manual.
Yeah.
I'm with Joey. Joey, I think it's a pool car.
Pearly likes it. That's not a good sign.
I think it would just be. I think you would have it, and then it would be misery owning it.
Yeah, not a good ownership experience, I'm sure.
It was a terrible experience when they were new. I worked with a guy who had one, and
40
he
years.
had a 912 and that 505, and he was always bumming rides. Is what happened.
Even when it was new?
Yeah.
Oh God. All right, Jonathan, you had the Volkswagen Caddy with lots of
Amazing.
rust.
Was
that
never
needs
never
towing.
called Caddy in the United States. It was never called Caddy here, was it? It was just
No,
rabbit,
that's just
Rabbit
how it's
pickup.
known.
yeah, but
Yeah.
rabbit pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Oh, another tie. That's a victory for me if I get a tie.
I'll give you. Yeah. It with some love, that thing could be cool.
All
Not
right.
without that rust. No way.
And finally, coming last, the Oldsmobile Diesel, probably one of the rarest of all. Yes, Casey.
You know,
Definitely no.
I don't even want to exercise my thumb
go-
showing I'm just content for this car. This is just
Oh,
a
come
horrible,
on.
horrible thing.
So
It's a
funny story
classic.
about racing those diesels across the country. Car and driver friend Russ Ferguson said, "Hey, park them at the community college. We'll keep them warm. They'll start up early. They'll start up in the morning," because we did this in December. And Russ was like, "Oh, this will be funny." And he stacked wheel weights on the inside of the Oldsmobile wheels. And we're motoring down the highway. I mean, like we weren't, and they blew past us in that blue Benz. but they said they were coming past us and the wheel was oscillating like a foot up and down from the wheel weight. We couldn't feel a thing.
No, that's how good. That's
Yeah,
how soft and good.
like we
the
were just. I think it was the seats. I think it was the seats were just sucking it all in. And,
we felt absolutely no vibration coming through. It was
yeah, so
incredible.
that's why it gets 2 shaky thumbs up.
And it was totally reliable. And I sold it for twice what I bought it for too.
You picked that just so you could tell the crazy stories about it.
No, I love that car. I really did.
And why did you keep it, Tony?
Because it was stuck in California and I didn't want to go back and get it.
Yeah, okay.
And it took me 14 years to find another one, I guess.
Would you buy this one? Would you buy this one?
Probably not.
Yeah.
You think that would pass smog?
You really wouldn't
I'd
want to
find a
buy-
nicer one. I'd find a nicer
I
one.
think you don't have to pass smog with an old diesel, right?
No, you don't. I'd be smog. I'd get a smog buy. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for joining us, guys, and thanks for watching to this point. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe and like. And we'll see you next week.